Christmas can be expensive. So today I'm going to share with you some holiday gift ideas with stuff that you may already have at home, and also some shortcuts and substitutions, again, with stuff you may already have at home. Anywhere we can cut corners like that and still come up with exactly what we need, it keeps money in our pocket for the things that we really need it for. I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, guys, so I grabbed a couple of mugs. I think maybe a lot of us maybe still have these if we haven't decluttered them. They're smaller mugs, but they're like the ones that you would buy in the store if you were getting like hot chocolate mix or something like that in a pre-made kit. But I'm just going to use ones that I already have that are not being used at home and get some use out of those. I also have some bags like you would pick up maybe at Dollar Tree. I'm going to put them inside of the mug. We're going to make some little gifts ourselves instead of buying those expensive ones that I don't even know what they cost now. They used to be like $9.99, right? But now I don't know what they cost. So we're going to make our own. Only these are not going to be hot chocolate. They're going to be cake in a mug, which I think is a really cool idea. I added a little note here on the side that will go and it will tell them what they need to add to their cake in a cup to be able to make it in the microwave. All it says is add 3 tablespoons of milk, a tablespoon of oil, 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of chocolate chips, and then cook in a microwave for 70 to 90 seconds. And this is just the inside of an envelope that I got that had some print on it. I'm going to tape this on here so they know how to make it. And then we are going to pre-make the little cakes in a mug for a gift. So I have salt, I have baking powder, I have flour, I have baking unsweetened cocoa powder, and I have sugar. And all we're going to do to mix up these kits is add 3 tablespoons of flour to each one. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that on the other one. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar to each one. Just regular white granulated sugar. We're going to add a tablespoon of baking cocoa to each one. And we're going to add just a dash of salt to each one. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And that's all that we're going to put in there and tie them up, put the instructions on the front, and we'll have a nice little cake in a cup gift for those hard to get people or people that you just maybe need a small gift, like a teacher, somebody at church, maybe just something small, a book club, anything like that. This would make great little gifts. So I have a bag that came from a pharmacy that I have reused, and I just keep any kind of little bread twisties or clips or anything in here for use during the year. That way I can always find them. I have some in here that are like bright silver, shiny. They would look really nice on this, or you could even use ribbon if you wanted. Then I'm just going to tie that shut, and I'm going to put this with it. And then we have our own little present that is a cake in a mug, and you can make your cake right in this in the microwave. I thought this was a really cute idea, so I wanted to share it with you. It's just something that I thought of the other day because once in a while, when my husband's at work late, I feel like having some cake. And he's not around. He's also gluten free. He doesn't eat a lot of sweets. So I thought, I'm just going to make cake in a mug for myself on those nights that I get that craving. Well, then I thought, why not just make this for other people? Then when they get a craving, they don't have to make a whole cake. This also is great for people that you maybe want to give a gift for an elderly neighbor that lives by themselves or anything like that so that they don't have to make a whole cake.
The next tip I would like to give you is a substitution tip. What if you have evaporated milk, but you need sweetened condensed milk? You can actually use your evaporated milk, which is cheaper and maybe in your pantry, and just substitute this with an additional half to 3/4 of a cup of white granulated sugar. And that will be the substitute for this. Now, both of these can be bought at the Dollar Tree, but if you buy these in a grocery store, generally your evaporated milk is cheaper than your sweetened condensed. But if you're in the middle of a recipe and you don't have time to run out and grab something else, but you have one of these, it's a great substitute. I got this substitute right off of the back of a pumpkin puree can in case you were in the middle of pumpkin pie and you didn't have your sweetened condensed milk. When we're in the middle of cooking, sometimes it's so easy to think, oh my gosh, I don't have this. I need to send someone to the store, or I need to stop this recipe and go to the store. Sometimes our minds don't go to what can we substitute. But a lot of times we have easy substitutions already in our home. Oil is so expensive right now. Olive oil is really expensive, but if you have applesauce that's unsweetened and you're not using it, you can substitute that like 1 to 1. So if you have 1 cup of oil you need, you can substitute 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce. It will keep you from running to the store, and you might just use up something that might otherwise go bad. For us, we have some applesauce. I don't particularly care for it. My husband only will eat so much of it. So I have some stocked that I'm going to use this holiday season to get that rotated because oil is so expensive right now anyway. So why not use up what I already have? Fresh avocados mashed into a cup can be substituted 1 to 1 for butter. And avocados don't have a super strong flavor. So that's something that we can use if we happen to have some avocados that need used up and we're making something that is in a recipe and it needs butter. Use up those avocados. Don't let them go bad. Save yourself a little bit on butter. Butter is so expensive. I have been lucky enough lately to get several pounds under $2.99 a pound and throw them in the freezer. And I'm taking advantage of those sales because butter is crazy, crazy expensive normal price. Breadcrumbs is another thing that we can substitute very easily. When I grew up, we didn't put breadcrumbs in anything. Like when we made mackerel patties, we used cracker crumbs. I didn't grow up with a meatloaf, but I always thought cracker crumbs went in meatloaf even when I got old enough to make it on my own. I never used breadcrumbs. So if you have some crackers that you are afraid might go stale, they're not getting eaten fast enough, or some saltines, just mash those up in the package and substitute those for your breadcrumbs. You can also use oats, and you'll never even know that the oats are in there if you mix them into your meatloaf. My husband uses oats in his meatloaf recipe. I use cracker crumbs in mine. You cannot tell the difference. You can't tell what that bulk filler is. So choose what you want for those recipes. And then if you just want to put breadcrumbs that are like with melted butter on top of your macaroni and cheese or something like that to crisp it up, and you don't have any breadcrumbs right then, if you have a box of cornflakes, use those instead. Crushing up those cornflakes and adding some butter on top of your macaroni and cheese or your potato casserole. Oh my gosh, it's so good. You may not go back to breadcrumbs. And then the last substitute is yogurt. A lot of us have yogurt in our fridge, and it can be substituted for sour cream. It can be substituted several different places like that. And sometimes we forget about yogurt during the holidays, and it's one of those things that gets pushed to the back of our fridge. And then after the holidays and after all of the desserts and the foods and the leftovers have been eaten, we're like, oh my gosh, there's yogurt in here that didn't get eaten, because that's something we would maybe eat normally, but not throughout the holidays. So don't forget that yogurt and mix it in your recipes that call for sour cream. If you're going to make that famous potato casserole, just use yogurt instead of sour cream. I hope this video has been helpful to some of you out there today. I hope maybe it's gotten those creative juices going on what can I make for a simple gift for people, or what can I substitute that I already have so I won't have to spend my precious dollars on buying more of something right now when that money needs spent somewhere else. I always appreciate the time that we spend together. I hope to see you in the next video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon.